up, dudes? It's your girl, Killswitch Queen here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Olivia, and today we're going to be going over the Cardo Packtalk Bold. I'm just going to go ahead and rip out my old Senna, get this new one in there, and then we'll start seeing if we can, how easy everything is. Because I love when stuff's easy. Goddamn, boy. You never had this much fucking trouble. This shit getting up in here. Come on, fucking piece of shit. I swear.
So this was going to be my intro for the Cardo Packtalk Bold review, but I had such a difficult time with it the first day that I used it. I got really annoyed and I felt that this wasn't the best review material. So that's how we get to where we are today. I've spent quite a few thousand miles with this Cardo Packtalk Bold, and I want to give you guys basically a rundown. What do I honestly think of it now that I've spent some more time with it? And would I recommend it to anybody, and who would this really be for? I want to preface this video by saying that I was sent this Cardo unit. However, I'm not sponsored. I'm not being paid like at all. No one's telling me what to say on this. I just want to give you guys an honest, real review. I also want to say that I've only ever used the Senna SMH-10R, which I absolutely love and I really didn't have any trouble with. It allows you to do your intercom and talk to other riders. It allows me to hook up my phone. Primarily what I use this for is listening to music and being able to take phone calls while I'm riding. I don't typically ride with other people, so I didn't get a chance to really use the intercom. I did connect it to a Senna at one point, which it sounded totally fine, but let's get into this. So I actually received this unit right before I left in June for my trip to New York. But the reason that I didn't install it was because I was worried that if I had any issues with it, I would be stuck with it for the 2 weeks that I was gone. And honestly, that was a huge mistake. For the audio and the phone calls in the Senna while I was doing my trip, I could not make out anything that was being said during a phone call. Audio on the Cardo is absolutely crystal clear with phone calls. I can actually hold a conversation and I don't have to constantly ask the other person to repeat what they're saying. Now, the reason that I opt to have a intercom system over using earbuds or whatever other sort of in-ear device, I know some people don't really like the speakers, but what I will say is that the Cardo has a JBL speaker set, and I actually have you may have seen JBL before. They make like those portable Bluetooth speakers. I have a JBL Charge 4. I use it when I'm on the garage. I use it when I go out anywhere, and it's a fantastic system. I also prefer to wear earplugs. I don't like having music directly blasted into my ears, especially with all of the wind noise that's going on around you. So it's a huge plus for me. I get to wear earplugs and protect my hearing. The audio still completely comes in clear. Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit hard if you're going quick on the highway or there's a lot of wind. It's a little bit hard to make out the music, but that's something I'm totally willing to sacrifice because personally I like to protect my hearing. And now if I didn't have earplugs in, the speakers I think would be plenty loud. Battery life, also compared to my old Senna, lasts way longer. Cardo claims a 13-hour talk time and I think a 1-week standby time, which I think is like a week of it just being on maybe, or like a week of it being around before it dies. I don't know what that means. Everybody uses that term. I don't know what it means. One thing I would say though, they give you a really short charging cable and I actually don't know where I put it or else I would show it to you guys. But my Senna came with this super long charging cable, which made it easy for me when I was riding and the Senna would die. I would be able to plug it in to my power bank and have that running into a pocket or a tank bag where I can then, even while it's charging, I could still use it and listen to music or directions. With the Cardo unit, it give you a cable that's just too short. I can't plug it into anything. I wish they would come with a longer charging cable. That would be fantastic, so that if it does happen to die while I'm out, let's say for a couple of days or something, I forget to charge it, I'm not stuck just being like, oh, well, I'll just take it off and not use it for a few hours, I guess. What I can't really speak on is the fancy DMC mesh, whatever intercom system they have where you can connect up to, I think, 15 riders. I'll fact check myself if that's wrong. I don't even know 15 people. Like, I don't even have 15 friends. That's an amazing feature, but man, I guess if you're like with a club or a group and you guys all want to be able to talk and hang out, that's amazing. I just don't know that many people. let alone that many people who would get this unit to be able to use that intercom system specifically. It is a universal intercom, so it'll work with whatever if you can get it connected. The biggest joy and like the biggest gripe I had with the Cardo when I first used it was that it can do so much stuff, which is awesome, but it can do so much stuff which is very frustrating because you're like, what button does what? Oh my gosh. Come here, baby. Damn, baby, come here. So if you're ever worried about it falling off, it's not gonna fall off, at least not that I found. I feel like once it's on there pretty solidly. So it has quite a few buttons. They have an antenna here, which I'm not entirely sure what it's used for. I don't know if it's for the intercom or for the radio or all of the above. It's got the 3 buttons, and then it's got this dial that also, when you press it, is a button. Really, the ones that you're going to be using the most are the 2 bottom buttons to turn it on, and then this button is going to control starting your music, and then if you press this, that'll stop your music, and then you can scroll and bring up the volume or turn down the volume. I'm a simple person and I like when things work very straightforward and intuitively. This felt much less intuitive to me, and granted, I did just take a glance at the little pocket guide, which I do recommend you carrying around in a tank bag or a literal pocket for your first week or 2 with this. Basically, you really want to get yourself accustomed to what each button does and how to go into like different modes and things, because the first day I did it, I couldn't get my music, I could get it to stop, but I couldn't get it to start up again, and I felt like I kept pressing the right button, but maybe I wasn't pressing the right button, and I just got frustrated. So you can connect up to 2 devices via Bluetooth. I think them recommending, if you have a phone and then also a GPS, if you have a GPS on your motorcycle. Now, they do have a guide on how to set the radio stations. That is another thing I absolutely love about this thing, is that it has an FM radio, and maybe I'm just old school, but I love having a radio. I love the option. Sometimes you get tired of listening to the same old playlists, and I just want to hear, what's kicking around on radio stations. So I tried to follow the instructions to set the radio stations just by using the buttons on the unit and listening to the prompts and everything, using the scroll wheel to get to different stations. I had so much trouble. I could not get the stations to set right. And so I was forced to download the app where you can connect to your Cardo. I think you can even check for updates and things like that. From the Cardo app is where you can set and save all of your stations. So once you go to the radio, it's easy to switch through the presets and change whatever station you want to listen to. I know I should be more into technology, but when I have to download an app to use something, I just don't like it. I feel like it's jumping through another hoop for something that should be pretty straightforward. But that's okay. I forgive it because I can listen to the radio in my helmet, and I love that. Lastly, I would love to talk about the voice commands. Voice commands work sometimes, and then they also work at times where you don't want them to work. Sometimes I'll be recording and making a video for YouTube with my GoPro on my helmet, and the Cardo will say something and it's just like, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, or whatever it says. And I'm like, I'm not talking to you, and I have to turn it off so that it doesn't start calling or making strange requests. And on that same note, for some reason, the first day I used it, I could not get it to do anything. And I think you can change the sensitivity or something. I was looking in the forums online, and a lot of people were having the same issue. I have not really done an in-depth dive into the app to see everything that you can adjust and change. I know there's things you can make adjustments. I think you can adjust how sensitive it is to your voice. The first day, it didn't want to listen to me, and it was very hit or miss on whether or not it listened to me. I since then don't really use the voice commands, but it has been great when I'm on the road. I actually use the voice commands. Just last week, I went down to Babes Ride Out in Borrego Springs, and I had to call my mom, and I don't know how it did it, but I said, hey Cardo, or hey Siri, or something. I have an iPhone. It was able to connect, and it dialed my mom. It did it. I couldn't get it to do it again, but it did it that one time, which was perfect, honestly. So overall, I didn't have a first grade impression with the Cardo Packtalk Bold, but the more time that I spent with it and actually learning how to use it and downloading the app and setting everything up, once you know all the commands that you need to do the things that you like to do, It's pretty straightforward. And the quality is really impressive. I love the quality of the sound. I'm a big fan of the JBL speakers already. While I would love to be able to get a bunch of friends together who all have the DMC Packtalk systems so that I can test out all of the intercom maybe one day, but for now, I'm sure it works just as well as any of the other intercom systems. This was a huge leap in quality from me, and especially just being updated from my old Sena SMH-10R, which came out, God, that's a mouthful, right? That came out years ago, and now I have something nice and new. So is the Cardo worth it? It's quite a chunk of change if you're somebody who is pinching pennies like I am. I think if you're looking for a system that's going to last you a long time and do pretty much everything short of having a camera and being able to record, I love this unit. It does everything that I need it to do, which is do phone calls and listen to music. It's easy to use now that I know how all the little commands work. We'll just go ahead and snap it on there. And this is something that you can even do with a gloved hand. I've done this before while I'm on the motorcycle. I was also always against having something that was like, that can come off of the helmet. That's why I really liked the old Sena that I had, because the unit itself stuck on and it had a battery that stuck on, and I never had to actually physically pull anything off. I guess you don't have to take this off. When I walk in somewhere, if I leave my helmet out, I'll just pull the Cardo unit off. But I've never felt like it was gonna fall off. I always make sure it's on there and I give it a wiggle and you're good to go. Okay, I don't want to make this super long, so hopefully this helps you decide if the Cardo Packtalk Bold is right for you, if it's something that you want to invest in. I think 100% it's absolutely worth it, just for the quality of sound and for all of the functions and features that it has. As of right now, I just checked the Cardo website and the single unit goes for $340. But I know that you can get it for around $240, $250 on just about every other site. The way I always look at it is I would rather spend more now and have something that's going to last me a lot longer. So thank you for checking out my review. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like. It is a completely free way to help support my channel and what I do. If you want to give me that extra spicy love, links down in the description to Patreon. If you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. I don't know, you're an adult. You can decide what you want to do. You're a big kid. I trust you. Thank you to all my current patrons for all of your love and support. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Mm-hmm.